Hey guys, Micah here. I want to read to you from the Great Commission, Matthew 28, and I want to tell you what it doesn't say. All right, here's what it doesn't say. It doesn't say, "Then Jesus came to them and said, 'All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make church services for all the nations.'" That's not what it says. What does it say? It says, "Go and make disciples for all nations. Go and make disciples of all nations." Now, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but we're in a pandemic. We're in a quarantine. There is a universal mask thing coming out. There's rumors that the lockdown may be coming. There's all kinds of things that are going on. And here's the reality, guys. There is nothing that we are commanded to do that we are unable to do during quarantine. Now, there's things that we're used to doing, right? There's ways of doing the work that we're used to doing that we will not be able to do under quarantine. We can't put 2,000 people in this building at a time. There's all kinds of things we can't do. But the things that we are commanded to do by Jesus, those things we can do during quarantine. Now, I don't want you to get me wrong. I love church services. I'm a pastor's kid. I grew up as a pastor's kid. I love the church. I love Sunday morning. I can't wait for us to have a rockin' Sunday morning again. All right? So I love Sunday morning because it's so good for my soul. It is good for my soul to be led by Laura and the team in worship. It is good for my soul to be taught by David and John and Jerica. It is good for my soul to gather with my church family to take communion together. Those things are good for my soul, all right? And I love that we do those things. But those things are not the mission. Now, it is the case that a lot of times the way that people have come to Whitewater and come to Jesus is they've come to those things. And I get that, and I can't wait to do more of that. But we can also go. And one of the things that's going to stop us as a church is if we have not trained and equipped our people to be able to go to where the fish are, right? Not just wait for them to jump in the boat, but to go to them. And so we need to be in the business of training missionary leaders who can go out and do the work. And that is what we're trying to do with Huddle. Now, I want to talk to you about Huddle for a minute. Huddle, we have tried several different things with Huddle. We feel like we're on a good track. We are learning a lot. We are going to release this fall kind of an updated version of Huddle that I think is going to be both easier to lead and also more streamlined and achievable for people to participate in without taking away that high bar challenge that I think is really valuable. So this fall, I think we're going to release the best version of Huddle yet, and I would love for you to consider leading a Huddle. Now, I want you to be really clear on why we're doing this, right? The reason that we have Huddle is not just because it's a good spiritual experience that's good and it goes on our trophy case, right? It's because we're trying to train Christian leaders, we're trying to train missionaries. What are the things that you need to know in order to operate, even if you don't have a Sunday morning? And we've already started that, right? But we've been doing that for a couple of years now. But now it takes on a whole new level of urgency. David says this all the time, and he's right. He says, whether we're in person or whether we're on site or online, we're still on mission, right? Whether we're in person or online, we're still on mission. And the reason for that is that this building is not the mission, right? And the website is not the mission. The mission is for you and me to reach out to our neighbor, our friend, our coworker, our fellow student, right? Whatever it is, the mission is for us to reach out to them directly and do the missionary work. And so to do that, we got to have some tools. We got to have our relationship with God right. We got to have some stuff fixed in our internal walk. And that's what we're trying to do with Huddle, is to build missionary leaders for the sake of the kingdom. And so you have gone through that, and I think that you could take someone else through that. Now, someone else, what does that mean? What we found, and I can show this to you statistically if you're a nerd and you want to know. I'm a nerd, so. What we found is that the bigger that the Huddle gets, the less likely it is to replicate, right? The bigger the Huddle gets, the less likely it is to replicate, because there's just not enough of you to go around, right? You can't just invest in everybody the way that Jesus invested in his. And so what we're finding is that 3 to 5 people is really the max of how big we recommend a Huddle should be. Now, I've led Huddles that are larger than that. Several people have. But once you get above 3 to 5 people plus yourself, it just takes on a different type of dynamic. And 3 to 5, let's say 4, sweet spot, seems to be about as big as it can work well. And so what I want you to do is consider, for this fall, we're not starting yet, for this fall, I'd like you to consider who might be 3 to 5 people that you could invite into Huddle. We are going to do an orientation in September that will bring you up to speed on the new materials, and we'll also just coach you on some things that are getting started and some things that might help you to lead well. But I want you to consider that right now. It's July. You've got a couple months to really think about, like, who might I like to invite? You could start talking about it, start thinking about it, start figuring out who it might be. Because our mission is always the same, no matter what happens, what with DeWine or coronavirus or any of those things. None of those things change our mission to make disciples who make disciples who make disciples who make disciples who make disciples. All right. So that's it from me. I can't wait to see you guys. I'll be reaching out shortly in the future. No need to take any action yet, other than just ponder this. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.